Greetings, everyone. We are in that season, and while we're talking about it, I want to continue to share my story about number one, listen to the inner voice, that small voice that speaks to you. We all hear that small voice. Some of us do not recognize it, or some of us are just, very stubborn. Now, when we're talking about the food situation that occurred in Kingston, and I want to reiterate that all of us at one point or the other have consumed something prepared in a way that is not the most hygienic. As long as you're not the one making your food, you cannot expose to that. But I'm going to share this video about a time when Spirit spoke to me, another time, because it's every day, but another time where I have been protected by that small voice. So it was my birthday celebration. That was January of this year, and the day on my birthday we went for breakfast. We had a little trip to Niagara Falls, and the morning of my birthday we headed out for breakfast. We were late, so we went to a few spots and they were already closed, getting ready for the lunch crowd. And so we ended up at, I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant. I'll never ever eat in that restaurant. I had a previous experience where I went in and I had to leave because I just didn't like the way the glass, had spots on it, the way the knives and forks had these water stains. I just was disappointed. It was a place that I liked before. And so when we were in Niagara Falls, we went to this one. We said, okay, it's a different place. Maybe they have better, you know, hygienic care or whatever. I sat down, and first of all, the atmosphere was not very inviting. We came in, it's almost like I could feel in my spirit. My family didn't feel it, but I could feel in my spirit that we're just going to tolerate you. That whole tolerance thing that happens here in this country, and it seems to be promoted by people to say, oh, we're very tolerant, not realizing how disrespectful that term is, to say that you're going to tolerate other human beings. So I could feel like they were tolerating us, and that didn't sit so well with me. So my family ordered tea and coffee, and I was like, I'm gonna wait and see. I'm not sure we should be staying here, because the voice, that soft, sweet voice, is saying, nah, don't eat here. But initially I thought it's saying don't eat here because, again, they were just tolerating us. Then I said to my family, you guys can have your tea, but I'm not staying. And of course, it was very frustrating at this point because we went to so many different spots, and I kept saying, no, 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 no. I'm not the easiest person to live with people because I go on spirit, and sometimes it will inconvenience you. So anyway, they ordered their tea and coffee and juice, and I was like, no, I don't want anything. Guy comes up who's going to serve our table, and he says, this is my table, this is my name, I'm going to be serving you guys. And it was so fake. The welcome was very fake, but they were kind of taking it in and ready to accept it because they were sick of just going to different places and hearing, no, 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 not here. So I looked at our table, there were crumbs on our table, and I said to the guy, could you please clean the table for us before we order? And he was like, okay. Like, he's looking at the table and he's saying, what is there to clean? And I said, here, there's watermarks, there is crumbs. I'm not eating at a table. Remember, we are coming off that thing where the world was locked down and they made this big fuss about hygiene, and now we are worse off than we ever were. After all that fanfare, they've gone back worse than they ever were. So he was annoyed to be cleaning the table, but he said, okay, fine, I'll go get stuff to clean it. And he went away and he came back, Spirit is saying, do not eat here. And I'm saying to my family, by this time I could tell that they're annoyed. I'm like, we're not eating here. Just drink the tea and the coffee and let's go. He comes back and he's about to wipe off the table. And when he bend over, and I have to be very cautious here so as not to be graphic. When he bent over, just picture the whole area behind this person was wet, literally raindrops falling from the same spot that Alice was serving her thing from. It's not funny, people. His entire, as if he came, as if he had just got off something sharp and long. He had just gotten up off it from some back room. And when he came outside, he was fresh, dripping from that place. You know, I can't say it here. I'm disgusted just sharing that. So, you know, he was one of those people that belong to one of those special organization. And I don't care about what people do in their private life. It's none of my business. But this guy was coming to serve me food. When I pointed it out to my family, they grabbed they clutched their purses, they grabbed their bags. They were out. I didn't have to say it to them twice. And while we're in the vehicle, I said, you guys, you need to listen. You always get to the point where you got to see it first before you get it. I'm not like that. I listen. I was going to sit there and watch them eat. I was not going to eat anything. It's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. The point of this video is to say, when it comes to food, even if it's not, people are not doing magical things, people's hygiene, their practice of handling food in ways that are not proper, not sanitary, is very common. So what this situation with this Alice woman has caused is for us to really look carefully, be very cautious about who we're eating from, what we're putting in our bellies. And don't believe it's just, you know, restaurants where people prepare your food. Listen, I could share stories on top of stories on top of stories of going into places and seeing food. I mean, one of the things I see in supermarket, bread open in a place where people are walking, you know, those baguettes or whatever. You go into these fancy upscale restaurants and you'll see the brown bag where they put those breads in, or you'll see open baskets with, you know, egg bread rolls and dinner roll or whatever they call it. Open. People really trust other people when it comes to the things that go in their belly. You go into like a bar and you see peanuts open and people putting their hand in there and eating it, and strangers that you don't know, and you literally sit there and eat peanuts from some basket that's open that everybody comes to dip their hand in, and people get up all the time and go use the washroom and come back. These, I have witnessed, I've shared story with you how the woman put the paper towel on the bathroom counter where that's wet and cut tomatoes and lettuce and put it there. These are all the things that makes me very fussy. So when we go to a restaurant, my family, you know, I have this, they have an inside joke about me how difficult it is for me to order my food and what to eat, and don't put that on that, even though it comes with that. I just don't trust you making that sauce for me. I don't trust you giving my juice with ice in it. I don't trust you. It's difficult for me to eat out. And as I get older now, I find that I'm mostly, eating at, I feel comfortable eating at Italian restaurants because for the most part, they're very, very clean and Jamaican as we see it now. I recently went to a pizza place to order pizza. And when I was there, I saw the lady who works at the joint, the pizza place, having her lunch. She took her gloves off and sat there and had her lunch. And then when she was done, I saw her put her gloves on while she's in the eating area, just a regular area where the clients come, our customers. And she put her gloves on. And I'm like, why are you putting on your gloves out here? Then she start dusting off the table, putting back all the chairs. And I'm like, now that glove is no longer any good. And I said to her, I'm like, I'm not going to be quiet. I said, those gloves, I hope you don't plan to go back inside and put those on inside the area where we'll be serving food. And I saw, she's like, no, with attitude. And I sat there and watched her go inside. Someone comes to order a slice of pizza, and she touches the pizza with the same dirty glove she was brushing off the table and pushing in the chairs with. So we don't want anyone to think that this is something that is just occurring in our country. This is just highlighting what is happening, whether it be physical or spiritual. Okay. Yes. Just wanted to continue the discussion so that we are more aware. And just more importantly, is to listen and abide by the instructions of the Spirit. Spirit filled room is where I want to stay, especially now in my life when I got so many things going on. I have to rely on the Spirit, I have to rely on the instructions. Yes, because 2023, people, it's a terrible, rough year for me. I'm going to tell you, I am strong. And what makes it so difficult is I don't talk to people about my business until it's over. So I can say that it's been a rough year for me, but I continue to push forward and I continue to share. Even when I set aside my own struggles, I still come to teach and to educate. Please, if you're going to watch the video, put a like on the video. Make a comment. It's my favorite part of YouTube, hearing from you. But these things are happening in the world. It's like the world is really on an axis now, spinning and throwing people off their balance. And so it's your job. It it's in your best interest to hold on to your faith, to develop a relationship between you and who you perceive to be your God, a steady one where every day you connect with spirit. Because listen, the things that are happening in the world are so disturbing. Stay blessed, everyone.